How's it slicing today? Um, I was supposed to have done final predictions, but it's hectic this side, so I just decided to just do the abscess predictions instead of the final predictions. I just decided to combine them. Um, yeah, I'm a little bit exhausted, so please don't judge me. Forgive me if I seem off. Yeah, let's get started. Normally I do this on Fridays, but like I said when I was doing the prediction results, Twiz, how are you, man? Um, so I just decided to do these today. I think this card is going to be pretty straightforward, but there are a couple of fights that are pretty tricky. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And someone critics bro. TZ, you're crazy, man. Cameron, how are you, man? Welcome to the stream. Actually, let me get started. Let me not delay everything, and then let me just get started. Everyone else will find us along the way. Plus, they always join late, so it's fine. Um, this is the final card of 2024, which is sad. But the next card is 4 weeks away, and the awards are coming up, so at least there's something to look forward to. Anyway, first fight on the card: Josephine Knudsen versus Piera Rodriguez. My subscribers and I went with yo, Mr. Porter. How are you, man? I don't know what that means, but yeah, welcome to the stream. My subscribers and I went with Josephine Knudsen. Josephine Knudsen is the favorite at -225. Piera Rodriguez is the underdog at +185. Yeah, it's gonna suck to not have UFC for 5 weeks, but we'll get there. Anyway, Josephine Knudsen. I feel like this fight is going to be a little bit closer. The thing is, I feel like Josephine Knudsen seems like she's constantly improving, and the people that I used to feel like would be able to finish her have been struggling. Mr. Porter, Eminem, Hype Man. Oh, I don't know the guy. Thank you for that. If he looks good. Anyway, I almost picked the Piera Rodriguez largely because Knudsen does not have like a high finishing rate, and which normally worries me because on one hand you'll be able to feel a little bit more confident in your pick, knowing that that particular fighter is going to try to finish the fight. On the other hand, a lot of finishers do not have the cardio to go for like 3 rounds. So normally, if they get past the first round, it normally does not end well for them. Um, so that it's a tricky fight. Plus, it's women's MMA, so anything can happen. Good boy. I have scared all of my face, and I still look hotter than you. Oh, okay. Good for you, my guy. So I don't know. I feel like Josephine Knudsen will have the advantage on the feet. I feel like Piera Rodriguez will have somewhat of an advantage on the ground. I feel like Piera has a little bit more power than Josephine Knudsen, but obviously Knudsen is a very decent striker. So this one is going to be a little bit tricky. I am not confident in the fact that I don't know why Josephine Knudsen is a minus 225 favorite because I feel like this fight is a little bit closer. Um, so because of that, I feel like an upset is definitely possible here, largely because I also almost picked Piera Rodriguez. Um, Honestly, don't understand why the lines are not that close, considering. I guess maybe it's because Josephine Knudsen has not lost yet. Maybe that's the reason. But yeah, an upset is definitely possible here. But my official pick and my subscribers' official pick is Josephine Knudsen. On to the next one. Okay, before I go to the next one, let me reply to a couple of your email, your messages, I mean. Tweezy Rich, these lines are pretty wide. The Rodriguez should be 9-1. Yeah, I honestly agree, Tweezy. I don't know who pick. I don't know who to pick still. I agree. So you're the tough guys. I'm not a tough guy. I don't think I am though. Cameron, I'm looking for your most confident three picks. I'll give you my most confident three picks once I'm done going through the abscess predictions. So yeah, on to the next one. Davy Grant versus Ramon Tavares. Oh my goodness. Davy Grant is the underdog at plus 120, and Ramon Tavares is the favorite at minus 145. Okay, guys. There's going to be a lot of noise. There are these people who just randomly roam the streets be like sounding drums, and I'm sure you probably can hear it from the background. I don't know if I should just wait for them to pass or I should just continue if you guys can hear me, because from my end it's very loud. Let me try and continue and see how it goes. Actually, let me show you guys. I don't know if you guys can see them. They're at the back of the road. So it's a lot. Anyway, it's actually Tuesday Rich. It's actually Pickham. Good boy. You cannot say Salam Alaikum and concrete about whiskey. Okay, Kamran, you can continue. Okay, I appreciate that. Davy Grant versus Ramon Tavares. My subscribers and I went with Ramon Tavares. Davy Grant is the underdog at plus 120. Ramon Tavares is the favorite at minus 145. Do I think an upset is possible here? Yeah, definitely. Um, on the feet, I feel like it's going to be a little bit evenly matched, but I think Davy, what do you call him? Ramon Tavares will have a bit of an advantage because he will have the power, he will have the reach. So because of that, I feel like it's going to give him a significant advantage. Not significant. Let me not say significant, but I feel like MMA is a game of inches. Basically, it just comes down to who has the slightest amount of advantages, and that's normally who most likely wins. And I feel like that's going to be Ramon Tavares. I feel like David Grant is not that good. He's not someone I would worry too much about. But nonetheless, it's not like Ramon Tavares is an a surging prospect that I would be concerned, or rather, I would be confident in that he's going to destroy David Grant. So because of that, I'm going to say an upset is possible here. Um, Both of them, I don't feel like they're particularly that great, but I feel like Tavares is a little bit better than David Grant. And the odds are perfectly or rather, the odds perfectly reflect this. Unlike the fight between Josephine Knudsen and Piera Rodriguez, which is honestly odd. Where are you from, brother? I'm from South Africa, my guy. So yeah, an upset is definitely possible here, but my subscribers and I officially picked Ramon Tavares. On to the next one, Miranda Maverick versus Jamie Lynn Harth. My subscribers and I went with obviously Miranda Maverick. Maverick is the favorite at minus 350. Lynn Harth is the underdog at plus 275. Do I think an upset is possible here? Uh, when it comes to women's MMA, man, like you can never be confident. I was confident in Kong Wang, and she was winning. I felt like she was overconfident. I think she let the hype get to her head, and she paid for it. Right? Miranda Maverick is a talented fighter, but once again, I felt the same way about Dudakova. I felt the same way about Kong Wang. I felt the same way about who's this lady who trains with Jilton Almeida. I forgot her name. I felt the same way about her, not in her last fight, but the fight before that, and she lost in a fight that she should have arguably won and dominantly won. So Maverick is minus 600. That's crazy. So in future, irrespective of how confident I am in a female fight, just stay away from it, man. Like they're very unpredictable. But I will say on this one, don't listen to me. But on this one, I don't think an upset is possible. I feel like Miranda Maverick is significantly better everywhere. Whether the fight stays standing or the fight goes to the ground, I feel like Miranda Maverick is going to actually dominate. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets like a finish. I don't see any advantages for Jamie Lynn Hart, to be honest. I don't feel like she's that great at fighting. So yeah, I don't think an upset is possible here, but it's WMMA, so anything is possible. On to the next one. Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima. My subscribers and I went with Felipe Lima. Miles Johns is the underdog at plus 210. Felipe Lima is the favorite at minus 240. Do I think an upset is possible here? Yeah, it is. I mean, I know I'm picking Felipe Lima, but we also have to remember that, and I always say this, a lot of these up and coming prospects, these things that are happening around, like they're distracting my the way I do my upsets predictions because there's a thought process that goes into it, and they're disturbing my flow. But anyway, I'll get back to my flow. It's fine. So so Miles Johns, I think he's a seasoned. I wouldn't call him a veteran, but he's a seasoned UFC fighter, and we forget to actually acknowledge that. But and a lot of us fall for the trap of recency bias. Basically, whoever we saw lost and whoever we saw dominating, in our minds automatically like, okay, this guy is going to definitely win. Here's the thing about Felipe Lima, right? He got the upset win in his debut, which was impressive. But I've said this before, and I think it's common knowledge to a lot of MMA fans and probably even fighters that a lot of these guys who are coming in from the regional scene are sometimes or usually on something. This is not proven fact, but it's something that it's commonly known that a lot of these guys who are coming in from the regional scene come in on something. And that's why a lot of their performances in their debut is a little bit different than their performances after their debut. Like, who can I make an example with? Abbas Magomedov, for example. He came in and he looked sensational. And then after that, I mean, he's trying, but he doesn't look the same. Who else? I doubt Carlos Leal will look the same after that particular fight, even though people are saying Rinat Fakhretdinov robbed him. Who's the other guy? The guy who fought the Jack Della Maddalena, I forgot his name. Basil Hafez. The guy came in and gave Jack Della Maddalena probably one of his toughest matches, and then he didn't look the same after that. A lot of these guys who are coming in, especially on short notice, usually come in on something. So I think we have this problem of thinking that their debut performance is how they're going to consistently continue to perform. In most cases, that doesn't happen. The only person who I feel like continued to perform on the same level as their debut is Diego Lopez, and I will continue to say this. There aren't that many people who come in and perform on that level and are able to maintain that level of performance, right? So because of that, I'm a little bit worried about picking Felipe Lima, largely because he's had only one fight in my as far as I know. I follow the sport, but I forget a lot. So, but as far as I know, he's had one fight. And Mouse Jones is a very seasoned UFC fighter. Whoever is calling me will have to wait. Um, so let me actually. So okay, let me finish my thought first, and then I'll reply to some of your comments. Actually, let me just finish doing my upsets predictions, and I'll then respond to the comments. So because of that, I'm a little bit worried about picking Felipe Lima. I'm still picking him. I'm still sticking with him. But this is the situation of the unknown versus the known. It's possible for Miles Johnson to actually get the upset here, purely because I feel like he's very difficult to finish. He has cardio. He is one of the few well-rounded, not few, but he's very well-rounded. He can wrestle. He can strike. So if Felipe Lima was on something when when he was debuting, it's gonna be a very interesting fight. Um, but still, I'm going with Felipe Lima. Based on what I've seen so far, I think he's the better fighter. Hopefully, he shows up and he looks the same or even better than he did in his debut. Um, so yeah, but an upset is definitely possible here. I wouldn't feel too confident in this particular fight. On to the next one. Um, Sean Woodson versus Fernando Padilla. My subscribers and I went with Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson is the favorite at minus 175. Fernando Padilla is the underdog at plus 145. Do I think an upset is possible here? A very small possibility of an upset here. I've seen a couple of people going with Fernando Padilla or something like that. I apologize for butchering his name. Um, I don't know, man. I just feel like the people that Padilla has lost to versus I don't know. Didn't I think Fernando Padilla lost to Carl Nelson? Didn't he? Maybe I'm mistaken, but I think so. But irrespective, I feel like Sean Woodson has been facing um, like decent level competition. A lot of people felt like he would lose against Carl Nelson, and he actually, even though it was a close fight, but he did see decently well in that particular fight. So I don't know, man. I don't necessarily feel like Fernando Padilla is going to be able to do anything significant. Sure, he has power. Sure, he has volume, but what else does he have? Like, I don't see him. I don't see him. Let me see. I don't know, man. I don't see how he wins, to be honest. He has power. He has volume. Sure. But I don't know, man. I just feel like on the feet, Sean Woodson is a little bit better. Um, Plus, he has the reach advantage. Um, Maybe if Fernando Padilla somehow wrestles, I don't know. Maybe that might give him some level of an advantage. But still, it's a close fight. So I think I'll say an upset is definitely possible here. Despite the fact that I felt like Sean Woodson should definitely win this one, I also do feel like Fernando Padilla is a very dangerous fighter, and I cannot overlook the fact that he has a decent amount of finishes. So, yeah, respectfully, I think I'm going to say an upset is possible here. On to the next one. Joel Alvarez versus Draka Klaus. My subscribers and I went with Joel Alvarez. No, we went with Joel Alvarez. I made a mistake. Joel Alvarez is the favorite at minus 340. Draka Klaus is the underdog at plus 265. Do I think an upset is possible here? Yeah, yeah. But but at the same time, I'm the guy who I didn't pick. I think when was the last time Joel Alvarez fought? I think Joel Alvarez. There was a pay per view card. I forgot the pay per view card. Um, on the entire card, I think Joel Alvarez was the only fighter that I got wrong as far as picks go. Right? I think Joel Alvarez is a decent fighter, but I think he's one of the few fighters who know how to use his reach. He knows how to use his length. Let me see if he will have the advantage in this particular fight. Yeah, he will have the power advantage. He's going to have the reach advantage. On the feet, I think it's going to be 50-50 with a little with an edge for Joel Alvarez. I think he's going to be a little bit better defensively. He's going to throw a little bit more volume. He has power. He has reach. If the fight goes to the ground, let me see. I think it's going to be Draka Klaus if the fight goes to the ground, but I could see Joel Alvarez somehow finding a way to submit him. But if the fight goes to the ground, I think Draka Klaus might be able to maybe control him, which I don't think it's going to be very easy to do. But I'm not going to overlook the fact that there is an opening on the ground. For me personally, a lot of people were telling me, no, I'm crazy for thinking, who's this guy who fights for the Fighting Nerds? I forgot his name. Um, they were like, no, he's going to knock out. I forget names, man. But nonetheless, it went to a decision and it was a close decision, right? So I feel the same way about this particular fight. I feel like a lot of people are overlooking um, Draka Klaus, and he might not win in the most entertaining way. He might just sit on Joel Alvarez for 3 rounds and actually get the decision. That is actually that is actually possible, right? And I see a lot of people who think like, nah, this guy is going to definitely destroy this other guy. Um, yeah, the guy who was fighting James Lontop, I forgot his name. Um, what's his name? I forgot him, but a lot of people were saying, no, he's going to run through James Lontop. He's going to knock him out. And I remember telling people, for me personally, I feel like this fight is going to be a little bit closer than people say it's going to be. Um, and it actually was very close. Um, so I feel like this might be in that particular way, which is also sad. The same thing I said about Orobai versus Mateus Rabeki. A lot of people were thinking, no, Orobai is going to steamroll this guy. And I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Rebecca actually won, and that actually happened. So I have the same feeling about this particular fight. I could be wrong, but officially I'm picking what do you call him, Joel Alvarez. My subscribers are also picking Joel Alvarez. I'm just saying, despite the fact that I feel like he's going to have a massive advantage on the feet, from power to reach to defense, and he throws a little bit more than Draka Klaus. There is the element of wrestling, and I feel like Draka Klaus might be a little bit better there, which might make things interesting depending on how good um, Alvarez can defend the takedowns. And I know he has a decent takedown defense. I'm just saying. Um, I feel like a lot of people are underestimating Draka Klaus. Anyway, an upset is definitely possible here. On to the next one. Michael Johnson versus Otman Azaita. My subscribers and I went with Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson is the favorite at minus 185. Otman Azaita is the underdog at plus 155. Do I think an upset is possible here? This is a coin flip. On one hand, Michael Johnson is like 41 years old. My subscribers and I went with Michael Johnson, by the way. Michael Johnson is like 41 years old, which is going to be very difficult. It was hard for me to pick him, especially considering the fact that I feel like Otman Azaita has a high finishing rate. I think it's like 92%, so it's extremely high. which means when he wins, he most likely finishes, right? And Michael Johnson is ripe for being finished, especially at 41. The wind could knock him out. I remember picking Michael Johnson. I can't remember who he was fighting. Um, and then he got knocked out. You know, he was fighting really well. And then he got knocked out in that particular fight. It's I think this is very risky, largely because I feel like Azaita has the ability to finish the fight. However, I feel like Michael Johnson is a little bit better. I wouldn't say he's definitely the better fighter. I think on the feet it's going to be dead even. On the ground, I'd give the advantage to Michael Johnson. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see how the fight plays out. But uh, even though I picked Michael Johnson, I'm not very confident in my pick because he's 41 and even though I picked, what do you call him, Jim Miller at 42, he didn't look good. I was glad he got the submission because I don't know how the fight would have played out if he actually didn't finish the fight that quickly, right? So I'm still worried. Look at how Weidman looked. I felt like he was the better fighter, but look at how he looked. He looked terrible. Um, and he's like 41 as well. I don't know, 39. No, he's like 39. But still, he fought like a 41-year-old. Anyway, an upset is definitely possible here. I'm worried about my Michael Johnson pick. In any case, on to the next one. Navajo Sterling versus two Kotokos. My subscribers and I went with Navajo Sterling. Navajo Sterling is the favorite at minus 500. Tuka Tokos is the underdog at plus 380. Do I think an upset is possible here? No, no, no. This is one of the few fights that I feel like are very straightforward. Tuka Tokos was busy talking trash when he was supposed to be fighting. I can't. Umar, was he fighting Umar Sai or something like that? Umar Sai, yeah. I think he was fighting Umar Sai. And he was busy telling his corner, like, yeah, he's getting tired. This guy is getting tired. He's breathing heavy. And then he got submitted. Like, it speaks to low IQ. It speaks to, I don't know, he's not taking his career seriously. Like, why are you focusing on commentating the fight as opposed to actually trying to find a way to win? And it shows that what he was doing was very stupid because now he looks even more stupid. I think maybe he thought he would look memorable or entertaining. I don't know what he was trying to do, but it made him look like a clown. On the other hand, I feel like Navajo Sterling is a very talented striker. He trains at City Kickboxing, if I'm not mistaken, with the likes of Israel Adesanya and Carlos Olberg. So I feel like on the feet, definitely Sterling is going to outclass Tuko Turcos. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I feel like Navajo Sterling is going to outclass him. I don't feel like the fight will go to the ground. But if it even attempts, or Tuko Turcos, if he attempts to take it to the ground, I have faith in City Kickboxing's takedown defense. Israel Adesanya had one of the highest takedown defenses in UFC until his prime ended, right? Which was after he hit the age of 36. That's when the takedown defense was not as great as it used to be. Um, but I have confidence in Navajo Sterling's ability to actually defend takedowns and for him to actually win the fight on the feet, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a knockout. Anyway, I don't think an upset is possible here. On to the next one, Adrian Yanez versus Daniel Marcos. My subscribers and I went with Daniel Marcos. Adrian Yanez is the underdog at plus 145. Daniel Marcos is the favorite, or rather, Adrian Yanez is the underdog at plus 145. Daniel Marcos is the favorite at minus 175. Do I think an upset is possible here? Let me see. I don't know, man. Here's the thing, right? This fight gives me Kyla Phillips versus Rob Font vibes. It just feels like Adrian Yanez should be the better fighter here. He should be the better striker, which I think is going to be, in fact. No, 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 no. I think Adrian Yanez has power, has volume, and reach. But as far as technical striking, I don't know, man. I feel like on the feet is going to be evenly matched. Um, whew, some of the fights on this card specifically, are crazy. Um, I don't know, man. I feel like this fight is very close. I just feel like Daniel Marcos has been fighting really decently. Um, I, it's gonna be very difficult to actually. Mm. Okay, on the feet, I feel like it's going to be close. I feel like Daniel Marcos is going to be better defensively. I feel like Adrian Yanez is going to be better offensively. And then on the ground, I feel like maybe Daniel Marcos will probably have a bit of an advantage. Not a significant one, but he'll have a bit of an advantage. And I understand why the odds are so close in this particular fight, because I feel like the fight is very closely matched. But I think Daniel Marcos should somehow find a way to win. It's probably not going to be easy because Adrian Yanez is a decent fighter. Um, I would have liked to see him against Peyton Talbot, but it's fine. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very close fight, but I'm leaning towards Daniel Marcos. But an upset is definitely possible here. The fight is a coin flip, in my opinion. On to the next one. Vito Petrino versus Dustin Jacoby. My subscribers and I went with Vito Petrino. Vito Petrino is the favorite at minus 280. Dustin Jacoby is the underdog at plus 225. Do I think an upset is possible here? Yeah, yeah. I mean, Vito Petrino does not have the brightest or like the best fight IQ. He jumped into a guillotine and gave Anthony Smith some type of, I don't want to say relevance, but I don't know, man. Anthony Smith should have retired a long time ago, and Vito Petrino made him think he can actually still make a run for the belt. And it took a couple of other people to actually show him that, nah, dude, nah, that was just bad IQ. You didn't actually win, right? I still feel like Vito Petrino is going to have some level of an advantage on the ground. Obviously, Dustin Jacoby is a very talented striker. Beating someone like Kennedy Zechuku is somehow impressive, right? So I think on the feet I would say um, Dustin Jacoby is probably going to have a bit of an advantage. Obviously, um, Vito will probably have the reach. Yeah, I mean Jacoby will have the power for sure. But even Vito Petrino has a little bit of power. So, but in all honesty, I feel like if Vito Petrino cannot take down Dustin Jacoby, it's gonna be a very long night because I'm. I don't feel like Vito Petrino has good cardio. Like even in the first fight, in the fight against Anthony Smith, he didn't look good. I'm just hoping that the loss made him train a little bit more. That sometimes happens. So I guess we'll just have to see what the loss does to him. Does it make him improve? Does it make him worse? I guess we'll find out. But I feel like he's a little bit better. Jacoby is starting to get a little bit older. He's the better striker, but he's not younger. But Petrino has a bit of a size and muscle advantage, so I feel like maybe he can muscle him to the ground. I'm just not confident in Petrino's what do you call it? In Petrino's cardio. So anything can happen in this particular fight. So an upset is definitely possible here. On to the next one: Manel Kape versus Bruno Silva. My subscribers and I went with Manel Kape. Manel Kape is the favorite at minus 280. Bruno Silva is the underdog at plus 230. Do I think an upset is possible here? Nah, 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 no, no. I think Manel Kape is I wouldn't say he's good, but in this particular fight, I think he's going to dominate. I don't think it's even going to be close. I think even on my safe and risky predictions on the channel, I think I said this fight is safe, right? And if I feel this way when I'm doing the live after extensive research, then it probably means Manel Kape is going to win, which is odd because he's like minus 280. He should be the one. Okay, Navajo Sterling should actually be minus 500, but like Alvarez at 340, I think I would put Manel Kape at minus 340, but it is what it is. I feel like Manel Kape is probably going to dominate this fight. Um, People are going to look at this fight and feel like, oh my god, Manel Kape is back. It's not back. I just feel like this is going to be a favorable match for him. If he loses this one, he should be cut from the UFC, man. Like, you can't lose this. I feel like it's a layup for Manel Kape. Um, there's very little possibility that he's going to lose this fight. That's why I say if he loses, he should be cut. And the fact that even though he lost to Muhammad Mokaev, I feel like it was a commendable loss because he was fighting someone ranked in the top five. Um, yeah, and apparently he injured himself somehow during the fight, so that's why his performance was not as great as it should have been. But nonetheless, I still feel like he's probably going to not probably. He should not only dominate, he should finish Bruno Silva. I will repeat this. If Manel Kape loses this fight, he should be cut from the UFC. This is a layup for Manel Kape. Like, he needs to win this fight. Like, there's no way for him to lose this fight. Otherwise, he should be cut. Anyway, an upset is not possible here. On to the next one. Cap Swanson versus Billy Quarantillo. My subscribers went with Cap Swanson. I went with Billy Quarantillo. Cap Swanson is the underdog at minus 135. Quarantillo is the favorite at minus 160. Do I think an upset is possible here? Yeah, of course. Of course, an upset is possible here. Because as far as striking goes, I feel like it might be a little bit close, but Cap Swanson has the power, a bit of a power. But Cap Swanson is like who was it? It's like Michael Johnson, man. Like they're very good fighters, but they're old, dude. Like they're old. And Billy Quarantillo, I know a lot of people give him a lot of flack. I'm not saying he's like a contender or a future contender, but I think he's pretty decent. Like a couple of wins. I forgot the names of the people, but the people that he's beaten, like was it Alexander Hernandez? I don't know if I'm remembering the correct names, but I think he beat Alexander Hernandez. There are a couple of decent fighters that he's actually beaten. And people are giving him flap for losing to Edson Barboza. I mean, why would anyone give him flack for that? Um, People like Leron Murphy actually struggled to get the win against Edson Barboza. Edson Barboza is a legend for a reason. He's a very talented fighter. So I don't know, man. I don't know why people think this guy is trash. I mean, he's not a top level fighter, but I feel like he should be able to finish a 41-year-old Cap Swanson, or not even finish, at the very least find a way to win. I'd say he also should be cut if he loses to Cap Swanson. Um, but this is going to be a close fight. I'm not saying Billy Quarantillo definitely wins this one. It's definitely a coin flip. I feel like on the feet, um, it could go either way. A slight advantage to Cap Swanson, but the advantage that I feel like he had, he lost it because of age. On the ground, I feel like it's evenly matched. So I don't feel like either of them have any sort of an advantage as far as technical fighting skills, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. So because of that, I'm going to lean towards the guy who's a little bit younger, um, who hasn't been in as many wars, right? Which is Billy Quarantillo. Because as far as technical fighting skills, um, you might say, well, Cub Swanson is the better fighter, sure, but he's like 41 or something like that. So that decreases his skill basically. So it puts them, in my opinion, on the same playing field. So it's a coin flip, and in a coin flip, in a close fight, in an evenly matched fight, I'm going with the younger fighter, unfortunately. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. My subscribers went with Cub Swanson. I went with Billy Quarantillo. I guess we'll see. On to the next one. Billy Covington. That's his new name. Anyway, an upset is definitely possible on the Cub Swanson fight. Um, on to the next one. Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. My subscribers and I went with Joaquin Buckley. Colby Covington is the underdog at plus 205, and Joaquin Buckley is the favorite at minus 250. Do I think an upset is possible? Yeah. Here's the thing. On the feed, I feel like Joaquin Buckley is going to destroy Colby. Okay, not destroy. Maybe destroy, but I feel like Joaquin Buckley will have the advantage. I think that's what I'm trying to say. On the feed, Joaquin Buckley will definitely have the advantage. Um, he has the power, he has the reach. I feel like he has the volume. I think he has a bit of defense, even though I feel like Colby also has defense. Colby knows how to land, but he doesn't throw a lot. He doesn't have power. He doesn't have the reach. All those things are on Joaquin Buckley's side. As far as the wrestling goes, I've always said this, right, about Colby Covington, right? Colby Covington, for me personally, has never actually been a talented fighter. I know a lot of people give him a lot of credit for going, I don't know how many rounds with Kamaru Usman. But for me, it doesn't really mean much because when you look at his resume, like if for example now I was to ask you, when was the last time Colby Covington beat anyone with a win? Like you'd struggle to even think about who was the last person. And that's probably, I don't know, back in 20, I don't know, 18 or 17, somewhere there. We're in 2024 going on 2025. That was the last person Colby Covington beat who had a win. I'm talking about someone who had a win. A lot of the people that Colby Covington beat were over 35, right? I think it was only who the person who he was fighting for the interim championship with. Um, okay, I'll remember his name. Nonetheless, the last few opponents that he had, let's list them, right? The people that he beat actually. It's Jorge Masvidal. It's Tyrone Woodley. Who else did Colby Covington beat? It's Jorge Masvidal and Tyrone Woodley in 2020. No, it can't be two people. No, 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 no. I'm trying to think. Like, if you guys can help me because I'm trying to figure out who was it. Was it Robbie Lawler? Yeah, it was 2019. We are in 2024, and I mean, like, just think about that, man. And he struggled even against Jorge Masvidal, who's not that great on the ground, who Kamaru Usman was able to control in their first fight and knocked him out in their second fight. Colby Covington was just, I don't know, hugging Jorge Masvidal, who I don't even rate that highly. I don't think Jorge Masvidal is that great. Um, Colby Covington struggled. And a lot of people are misled by Colby Covington's performances because he's fighting people who are older than him, right? So it looks like he knows how to wrestle. But whenever he fights people his age, he normally loses, right? That's why he lost to Leon Edwards. That's why he lost to Kamaru Usman. Whenever he fights people his age, he hardly ever wins. Um, so it's easy to look good when you are fighting people who are past their prime and you're still young. So when you're young, you still have a lot of energy, and if you cultivate it and you develop it and you make it your weapon, it can actually work against you. It can actually work for you, and that's why Colby Covington was being called the cardio king, and all that nonsense. Right? It was just youth. Colby Covington is old. That myth is coming to an end now. He's not going to be the same. He might believe that. Every single fighter believes that. I mean, Tony Ferguson still believes he's going to be a lightweight champion at some point in his career. The fact that Colby Covington had 3 shots at the belt and still failed, it just goes to show how horrible he is of a fighter. Um, like there's so many things I could go into, but even this fight, just to give you a bit of an idea, even this fight, Colby Covington didn't want it. He slipped up in one of the media interviews and said that the UFC forced him, and then he corrected himself and was like, "No, no, no, I'm doing this for the company. I'm a company man, as he always does." But he actually slipped up and said, "Well, the UFC forced him. He wanted to fight. Apparently, wanted to fight Shavkat Rakhmonov." Um, which I'm sure that the UFC would never have given it to him because Colby Covington will only fight if he feels like an opportunity for the belt, so that even if he loses, he's losing to top fighters in his opinion, right? He doesn't look that bad when he loses because he's losing to top level fighters. So sure. So for me personally, I don't know, man. I'm not writing him off. I'm going to say this fight is risky because, irrespective of how I feel about Colby Covington, I have to be honest. The mere fact that he was able to perform how he performed the first time, the striking of Colby Covington, the first fight against Kamaru Usman, was terrible. Um, what was a little bit more impressive was the second fight because I feel like Kamaru Usman got better as a striker, and Colby Covington was able to stay um, competitive with Kamaru Usman. I don't think that's going to be the case with Joaquin Buckley because Colby is old now. Like it's no longer the same. Once you hit 35 in MMA or mixed martial arts in general, yeah, well, mixed martial arts is MMA. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. But once you hit 35, all your advantages go away. You have to work 10 times harder than everyone, which is not what Kobe is doing. And it shows in the fact that Kobe is not ripped. So clearly the guy is being protected by the people around him. They're lying to him. They're telling him, no, you're the greatest. You are like they're telling him all the things he wants to hear. Um, if you want to be competitive above a certain age, above 35, you have to look like Bilal Muhammad, right? Bilal Muhammad is like 36 years old, but he's shredded. It shows that he knows that he's no longer in his prime, so he has to work 2 times or 10 times harder than everyone else just to compete on the same level with them because age in itself gives you an advantage as a fighter. So you have to work 2 times or 10 times harder than everyone else just to compete on the same level. So that's not what I think Colby Covington is doing. He's still, uh, that's one of the other things. He's delusional. He believes that what made him who he is, which was youth, he still believes he has it, right? And the another thing, I don't believe that he got injured, but even if it's true he got injured, that's another thing. He's starting to become fragile. I wouldn't be surprised if Colby Covington gets injured trying to take down or trying to submit somehow. By the way, when was the last time Colby Covington finished anyone? It was like it was Tyron Woodley, and it wasn't even like a proper finish. Like Tyron Woodley, because he's old, he broke a hip or something like that, and that was counted as a finish. But that wasn't a real finish. Um, Imagine the last time Colby Covington finished anyone was Tyron Woodley, who has been on a losing streak way before he fought Colby Covington. Till this day, Tyron Woodley is still on a losing streak. So there's so many things I can mention. He doesn't have a win over any ranked fighter in the UFC. Does he have a win over anyone who's active in the UFC even? I don't even know if he has a win over anyone who's active in the UFC actually, right? Oh, Damian Maya is no longer active. Oh, RDA, I think that's who he has a win over. I think he beat RDA, Rafael dos Anjos. I think so. Yeah, probably that's the only person he has a win over. So the mere fact that you have to scratch your head to find someone who Colby Covington has beat is not a good sign. Um, but I will say he has the experience. He's been in a lot of championship fights. We still don't know if Joaquin Buckley is a championship level fighter. I still feel like, and even though I feel like I'm being hard on Joaquin Buckley, the fight with Wonderboy Thompson, who is 41, but who is doing what I said. Like earlier on the stream, I think if you've been watching, I said that if you are older, you have to work 10 times harder than everyone else in order to compete on the same level, which is what the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is doing. He's working 10 times harder than everyone else in order to compete on the same level. I just don't like the fact that Joaquin Buckley had a competitive match with him, but I mean, Shafkat was also struggling to take him down. And Joaquin Buckley did something that is more impressive. To be able to knock out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is far more impressive than being able to control him with wrestling or submitting him, because that's striking. Kevin Holland got destroyed, and if you remember, Kevin Holland knocked out Joaquin Buckley, and yet Joaquin Buckley knocked out the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. That's why they say MMA math doesn't work. Um, but my point is, I feel like it's more impressive for Joaquin Buckley to have a knockout against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I think if my memory serves me correct, I think Wonderboy Thompson was the last person. There's this fly that's it's giving Africa a bad image. Like so I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson was the last person who knocked out Robert Whittaker, right? Before he went up to middleweight and eventually had the success he had and became middleweight champion. I can't remember, but I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson was the last person to beat him. So there's I don't know, man. I feel like the win and the knockout against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is more impressive. The problem is I don't know where Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is in his career, right? Because he might look good against him, but I haven't seen Wonderboy against someone who I feel like would test him significantly. Um, but nonetheless, I think the fact that he can knock him out just goes to show that on the feet, Colby Covington does not have a shot. The cardio, he's not going to have a cardio advantage. He's old now. He's old. He's not going to knock out Joaquin Buckley. Colby Covington has pillow hands. He's not going to submit him. When was the last time Colby Covington submitted anyone? What is he going to do? I don't feel like he has the cardio to win a decision, right? I don't feel like he has the cardio to win a decision. So I honestly can't see Colby Covington winning this fight. But because of his experience and because he's been so inactive, I don't know if maybe he's been making some few changes to his, I don't know, fightings. I don't know. Maybe he's delusion, but he's delusional, man. I think he believes without the actual work. I don't think the work that he's been doing when he was younger has changed right now. Like I think Colby Covington has been doing the same type of training for all his career, right? So I don't know. I don't feel like he's going to beat Joaquin Buckley, but for the sake of his experience, I'll say this fight is risky. I don't think it is, but I have to respect the Colby Covington's experience. So I'll just say this one is an upset is definitely is possible. I'm not even going to say definitely. I'll just say an upset is possible here. So let me give you my confident picks. Let me see. I apologize. I'm going to make Miranda Maverick one of my confident picks. Um, WMMA is risky always, so I don't know. You'll make the decision if you want to take the risk, but I think number one is going to be Miranda Maverick. Um, who's going to be number two? Let me see who's number two. Navajo Sterling is definitely going to win, and Manel Kapp. I think Manel Kapp is definitely going to win. But if you're feeling, extra confident, you can also go for Joaquin Buckley. Even though I said an upset is possible, um, I don't know, man. I don't. Especially after breaking down the fight, I don't see a path to victory for Colby Covington. In all honesty, um, the one thing that made Colby Covington what he is his cardio, and it's no longer there. He looked like an old man in his last fight. He's not going to outpace Joaquin Buckley. I wouldn't be shocked if Colby Covington gets knocked out. Because Leon Edwards, I feel like, was a little bit more afraid to engage with Colby Covington because of the wrestling. But I don't think Joaquin Buckley is going to be afraid because Joaquin Buckley has decent wrestling, right? So I don't think Joaquin Buckley is going to be afraid to engage. And I don't think, even if Colby Covington might find a way to maybe win the first round and maybe the second round, he's going to fade in the third and fourth and fifth. Even if it goes to a decision, I don't see Colby Covington winning this fight because I actually feel like Joaquin Buckley has decent cardio. That's why he was able to knock out Wonderboy Thompson in the third round. Like he wouldn't have been able to do that without cardio. So yeah, and he's still explosive in the third round. So I wouldn't be shocked even like if like we see another late finish by Joaquin Buckley. Colby's past his prime. His only claim to fame and success was his cardio. It's not gonna work now that he's old. Um, yeah, we'll see what happens. Let me respond to you guys. My battery is about to pass out. So before it does, let me. I don't know if I should go up because probably the people who are sending these messages are probably no longer on the stream. Um, Buckley is overpriced. I get that. I get that, but yeah, let me not even dispute that. That's why I said if you feel extra confident, you can go with Joaquin Buckley. Maybe you can parlay him. I don't know. Um, but because of Colby's experience, I will agree with you in that Colby Covington is a little bit overpriced. Woodson versus Padilla. I've already broken down that fight, my guy. If you want to watch it, you can wait for me to finish the stream, and then you can rewatch the whole stream. It will be on the live section of the channel. I already went through that particular fight. Um, Let me see. How confident are you on Buckley? Not very. Like I'm confident, but I'm not going to ignore Kobe Covington's experience, right? He's been fighting high level fighters. Irrespective of how much of a bum I think he is, he's been fighting people like Kamaru Usman, and he was able to even survive in the second fight and not get finished. He was able to survive against Leon Edwards, right? Um, and not get finished. But granted, Leon Edwards does not finish anyone, but it's been a very long time since Kobe Covington was finished, right? So he must be doing something correctly. Just that I don't feel like he's fought anyone who's as hungry as Joaquin Buckley, who's as explosive, who's as the closest thing to a muscular fighter like Joaquin Buckley that Colby has seen is Kamaru Usman, and he lost to him twice. But the difference between Kamaru Usman and Joaquin Buckley is Buckley takes more risks. Buckley is a pressure fighter. Buckley has power. Um, there are so many elements that I felt like are Kobe Covington's kryptonite. I wouldn't be surprised if Kobe Covington gets knocked down. To be honest, I'm not very confident, but I'm going to respect Kobe Covington's experience and say I'm not too confident. But if I was betting, I wouldn't mind putting something on Joaquin Buckley. But like the other guy said, I don't know who said that. It's Vincent Chase. He said Buckley is overpriced. So I guess maybe it wouldn't make sense if maybe he's overpriced. But yeah, do you think Cap Swanson fight goes the distance? Possibly, possibly. I mean, yeah, it's high. It's possible. I think it could go the distance. It's hard to say because I feel like the fight is. But in most cases, let me base this on my prediction experience, right? Normally, when I predict fights that I feel like are evenly matched, they end up going to a decision, even a split decision, right? So maybe Cap Swanson might win, and he might win like a split decision, whether robbery or not. Maybe, but I'm still picking Billy Quarantillo. But normally, in my experience, whenever I say a fight is evenly matched, it normally goes to a decision. I don't know if this is going to happen with this one, but I don't see either guy having the ability to be like, I'm going to knock him out in the first round. It could happen, but I don't see it, man. So a decision seems very likely. Unless if Quarantillo shows up like crazy, because I don't think Cap Swanson is going to get in there and look 25. Like he's going to look how he looked in his previous fight. The only person who I felt like has a room to improve is Billy Quarantillo. Unfortunately, there's very little improvement that you can do at 41. Right. Um, Let me see. I can see Buckley trying to shoot a double leg on Colby. Yeah, I don't think he is going to respect Colby Covington's wrestling though. Let me see. Let me see. Um, let me see. Let me respond. Actually, let me just continue responding to the new comments as opposed to going up. If you're still on the stream and you asked me something, I'm like at the top. Just ask that question again so that I can respond to it now. Because the questions that the messages that were sent are too many. If I try to respond to all of them, you might find that some of the people who asked them I'm no longer even on the stream. So let me just respond to the people who are still on the stream. Um, which are the most? I think I responded to that. Wealth Bazaar. Because Buckley ain't never gone to the championship rounds and he's going against someone well enough who has gone through plenty of them. Yeah, I respect. That's why I said I have to put a bit of respect on Colby Covington's experience, but that's as far as I go. I still feel like Joaquin Buckley wins. You have a lot of sunburn. Okay. So my pigment is sunburn. That's wild. Random person. Wow, every. Yeah, that's wild. I get a lot of them. Like that, it hardly ever affects me anything. Gokan Aaron. Kobe is underrated. Kobe is overrated. Do you have KFC down there? No, we eat the cow poop. That's what you want to hear, right? Um, Random person. When will you do UFC 311 predictions? I don't normally do early predictions. Maybe I'll do like I'll live stream early predictions. Yeah, maybe I think I'll live stream maybe next week. I'll do like early predictions for UFC 311. Yeah, I'll do that. That's actually a good idea. I'll do them next week. but I'm not going to do like any type of research. I'm going to base it on my knowledge. The research will be done within the week of UFC 311. That's what I prefer to do. Um, Shawad Raj, if you have to double chance Alvarez and Petrino, what will you take if you have double chance? I think Alvarez has a higher probability of winning. Gokhan, not funny, but yeah. Random person, Avery, why are you even here? It's crazy. Gokhan Aaron, Avery, get out. I appreciate that, man. Like a lot of these things no longer affect me as much. I'm like I get that a lot, which is wild. Willie Mays Hayes, Drakkar decision, possible W wrestling. Nobody believes. No, I said that. I actually, when I was breaking down the fight between Alvarez and Drakkar Klaus, I did say that Drakkar Klaus will have the advantage, some level of an advantage. I could see Joel Alvarez actually submitting him, but I feel like Drakkar Klaus might have the advantage, and I did even say that he might win, not impressively, but he might win by just sitting on Joel Alvarez. I actually did say that. Allah was bad. Okay. Random person. Okay, I'm not Muslim, so I don't care. Avery, yes, I asked you why do you have yellow eyeballs? Okay. Gokhan Aaron, I'm a Muslim, but I don't care about what a random dude saying. So, um, Floyfy MMA, Colby is the goat, bro. Wow. Wow. Is that a joke, man? Like, you can't seriously believe that. Wolf Balance, are you on Reddit? No, no. Um, I only interact on the channel, to be honest. Community section. Unfortunately, I haven't responded to a lot of comments in a very long time, but I'm going to make sure that I catch up. My batteries are about to die, like bad, bad, bad. Islam Mirab Umar, on my pick. Islam Mirab Umar, Bokan Aaron says Islam Mirab Umar, Jiri Moikano, and Arbi Ara my picks. For what? All for 11. Random person, Colby and the GOAT in the same sentences. Wow. He's never even been in the pound for pound rankings. I don't know how he's the GOAT though. My battery is about to say bye bye, guys. I love and appreciate all of you. Every clean your mouth, my guy. Like, anyway, I love and appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the comment section. Or alternatively, I'll see you Monday for the um, prediction results. Hopefully, I get 100% again this week, um, so that I can close off on a high note. But until next time, I love and appreciate all of you. Deuces.